Welcome to the Hanford Dixon Show. I'm Gabriella Cruz alongside the top dog. And let's just kick off this show right here, right now, with a little flashback. April 28th, 1981, with the 22nd pick in the first round of the NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Hanford Dixon, cornerback out of Southern Miss.
The top dog. Guys, you know what? I remember sitting there and the phone ring, and it was Mr. Art Modell. Arthur B. was on the phone, and he says, Hanford Dixon. I said, yes, sir, Mr. Modell. He said, you want to be a Cleveland Browns? And I was saying to myself, hell yeah, I want to be a Cleveland Browns. I didn't care anything about that cold weather then, but I said, yes, I wanted to be a Cleveland Browns. And that's how that whole thing works. Boy, the draft is just such an exciting time of year. And it's so exciting for those guys, those young players, because it's life-changing, not only for them, but also for a lot of them with their families. And it's just such a great thing.
We love hearing you go back in time and your moment, because, hang on, we got to finish 9 seasons in Cleveland, 3 Pro Bowls later.
Yeah.
That's the top dog's career in inventing the dog pound and everything that came along with it.
Well, I think you can, and you and Pat know me a lot better than most other people, but you guys can tell and see my face light up when we go back to that moment, because I tell you what, it was just really, really exciting. I'll tell you a quick story too. I remember when I got the call, and then we were doing my first contract, and I know I've told you guys this, but Walter Payton was a very close friend of mine. Bless his heart. I mean, he's in a better place than we are right now. But I was sitting in Walter's. I just came to Cleveland, got a big check. We went to Chicago, and Walter turns around and looked at me, and he said, Hanford, you get paid, you get that check? And I said, yeah, I got that check. He said, let me look at it. And he took my check and he tore the whole damn thing up.
Oh my God!
And I'm talking about it wasn't like these checks today, but I could tell you it was over $100,000. And I'm looking, and then he jumped on the phone, and I don't know how he had Art Modell's number. And he calls Art on the phone, and he said, Art, you know that check you gave that rookie? And Art said, yeah. He said, well, you're going to have to give him another one because I tore that one up. And I was like, hey, man, because, I was looking after he tore my check. I didn't know what to say, but what the hell was I going to say to Walter Payton? I mean, you talk about a Walter Payton here. I mean,
What was the point he was trying to make? I don't get it.
Walter's a jokester. You have to know him. He's just one of those guys where he would do something like that.
I'll tell you what, though, ain't shit funny when you rip up a $100,000 check.
Right.
Oh. I'm not laughing at that.
Oh
no,
my gosh.
Ain't shit funny, dude.
That's crazy.
Man.
That's crazy.
Well, I was a little bit hurt, but I wasn't worried about it too much because I know that Walter Payton could replace that thing like real fast there.
I thought he was gonna try to give you a little extra,
Yeah,
you're gonna have to cut him another one, throw in an extra $50,000.
Yeah, he was just guys. I mean, like I said, bless his soul. His wife and Jared and Bridget, his 2 kids, and his wife Connie. I mean, just good people. And like I said, it's just a shame that I didn't mean to take you guys down that road with Walter Payton, but again, just a shame. But the draft, where I'm headed with this whole thing, it was just a draft. You know what was crazy? I'm talking about the call I got from Art Modell. Can you guys believe what happened?
I know
did
you were going to talk about the pranks.
Yeah,
Let's take a break. Hanford, we got to take a break because we have so much to get into. We'll chart it all out on our next one.
You got it.
I love it. Okay, stick around for more Hanford Dixon Show. We're coming back with our headlines and everything draft right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. It's time for our Browns headlines, brought to you by our friends at Northeast Factory Direct. The weather's finally warming up, Hanford, and that means it's patio season. Okay, don't waste these beautiful days sitting on old, worn-out furniture or waiting weeks for some online order to show up. We've got Northeast Factory Direct with massive selections of high-quality patio furniture in stock and ready to go when you walk in. We're talking outdoor sectionals, UV-resistant all-weather wicker, sunbrella performance fabrics, and dining sets made with heavy-duty powder-coated steel built to handle Northeast Ohio weather. Visit them today in Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, or North Canton, or browse the patio selection online at northeastfactorydirect.com. In Hanford, I was just in there shooting some feature segments for Channel 19 with Alex and and company. These things are nice.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
high end.
Yeah, well, I had a question for you. I was just Northeast Factory Direct. They have almost everything. Can you go there and get one of those gold chains with all the diamonds that all the players are wearing when they come across the stage? Can you go there and get one? Because I'm a little bit upset because I thought you was going to walk in here. I thought you was going to walk in here today and you was going to have one of those chains.
Hold on. I got me a little. I got a little,
little bling bling, little bling bling
chain
right there. You know, I see you, Gab. I see you, girl.
Hey, I got to keep it simple, and I got to let my play talk for itself. You know what I mean? I'm going to let my play stay loud and my outfit stay cool. But we will talk about all the glam, because one of the things I noticed was how Cam Ward's interview, I don't know, he was getting emotional, and he was just so humble with all these guys with 18 cameras, their Twitch streams, and big chains, big theatrics. Cam's interview was totally stripped down. This dude's in a normal sport coat and a little chain, just very simplistic. And I'm like, this dude's about to be so good. I just know it.
Was he the one that said that he was talking about his family? I remember someone talking about his family, and then he was saying 2 years ago they lost their house and
I don't know if that was part of the interview that I watched. I saw a social media clip, so maybe I didn't get the full version.
I don't know whether it was Cam, but I know it was one of the guys. But these guys, that's the good thing about it, because they get so raw. Some of them during those interviews.
You mentioned in our opening how life-changing of a moment it is for guys. They're working really hard. Not everybody comes from the best background or the best school, the best upbringing, and this is quite literally a life-changing moment for them, and it's cool to see it on display.
Did you guys see the story? And one of the players, he was sitting there, and did he lose his mother or something during the draft? One of the guys, I think it was a big offensive lineman or defensive lineman or something, but his mom was in the hospital. She had a stroke or something, and I'm pretty sure she. After he got drafted or something, she passed away, and it was just so touching.
I think it was Derek Harmon.
Yeah, what did you see the story?
Shortly after the Steelers selected him.
Yeah. It was so touching. I just almost lost it. I mean, I almost lost it listening to some of these stories.
There's a lot of touching stories, and then we kind of teased it in our opener. But kind of crazy, this prank call situation on Shedeur. And also, producer Pat, I'm low-key surprised this hasn't happened before.
Yeah, I mean, it happened to multiple people in the draft as well. So Tyler Warren, and then the Browns draft pick Mason Graham as well. But basically, there's a kid at Ole Miss who is the son of the Falcons defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And he was able to just get all the numbers and, made a poor decision. I mean, the kid's, 18 or 19, whatever it is. But to prank call a couple people like that, or at least pass out the phone numbers on a very secure NFL database, I guess you could say, is really disappointing.
Well, the thing is too is, I mean, and he made the call to Shedeur, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sanders, and the thing about the whole thing, and I don't care what you could say, what you want to say about Sanders. I mean, I don't care what people do or what they say. I still, I always wish them the best. I mean, I always wish everybody the best. And for this kid, and you could say what you want to say, this kid, whatever the appearance seemed like it is, you guarantee you, man, he's hurting. He was hurting because he was expecting to go a lot higher than that. And then finally he thought he was drafted, and to get this phone call, and then there was a prank call. I mean, it had to be really devastating to him.
I'm all the more happy I'll be for the little chip he's probably going to have on his shoulder.
Yes.
Hey, I'm okay with these guys are tough guys. Okay. Yes, he's got to be hurting. Yes, that was unfair. But at the same time, I'm like, listen, this kid's got it all. He's getting a little humbled right off the rip. That's where I like to see you coming in. That's fine. You'll make it. You're going to be fine. Maybe it was a little unsettling at the time. It's all part of your story, all part of your journey. If that can just add a little fuel into your tank, I'm cool with that. You come in with a little bit of humility, and now go to work, bro. Show us.
Well, I think he's going to show us. I think either way, whether he would have gotten drafted, whether he was going to be the second pick or whether or not he was fifth or sixth or whatever round we took him, I think he's still going to show us. I mean, because this kid can ball. I mean, this kid can play, and it all starts with his father. I mean, Dion, who was a Hall of Famer, who was a great player in the National Football League, and I'm just so happy that we got him.
Yeah, guys, it's kind of crazy, too, because so much stuff happened this weekend that you kind of got to reverse course and realize that the Browns took Shadur Sanders in the 5th round, right? So we had how many picks? We traded the number 2 overall pick and then still somehow ended up with Shadur Sanders. We traded up back into the 5th round up from we took him at 144. So starting all the way back at the front, guys, what did you think when the Browns traded out of the number 2 pick?
Well,
yeah, Hanford, could you
good
have
question.
So much stuff
anticipated what was about to happen?
Hey, good question, but let me jump on what you were just talking about here, because here's what I think. Here's what I think was the whole thing on this whole thing, baby. I think what happened was the Browns wanted to draft Jalen Milroe. From the University of Alabama, Roll Tide Roll.
Yeah.
But what happened was Seattle jumped the Browns and took Milroe. So now what the Browns are saying to themselves, we can't wait now. We have to go up. We have to go get this kid. And you have to give them a lot of credit with that. Now, that's what they did. They went up and got the kid. But I really believe that we were going to draft, we wanted to draft Jalen Milroe, but he wasn't there by the time we got ready to draft.
Well, yeah, Pat, doesn't it seem kind of obvious that Shedeur was like a last-minute thing or not on a priority of some kind? Because, I mean, going with Gabriel, I was actually a little confused by that, to be honest.
Oh, my God.
I was like, I kept trying to make sense of it. I'm like, okay, he's 5'11".
Mm-hmm. And Gab, I believe you're 5'11" also?
Yeah.
Right?
5'9".
5'9".
We're close.
Close
I'm
enough.
like, all right, so me and this guy
I don't think Dylan Gabriel's 5'11" also.
Yeah,
but.
you know, they got to be cheating up a little bit. His resume is solid. I just was surprised. I was like, I do think that going to the National Football League, it's a totally different play. And I think every physical benefit adds to your ability at that level to assimilate properly. So I was a little confused by the Gabriel pick.
Yeah.
But, and then Shedeur kind of felt like, this could be a bonus. Let's grab this. If he pans out, even better.
100%.
So, yeah.
The interesting part is, so we took Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round, right? He's a winner. He won at Oklahoma. He won at Oregon. Mm-hmm. That's great. But we could have gotten him in the 5th round, 6th round. That's the part that's confusing to me.
Right,
and
right.
Shedeur
the order
dropped,
of operations, I think,
Shedeur dropped out of the 1st round to the 5th. Dylan Gabriel slid up to the 3rd from probably the 5th or the 6th. It was just a really interesting order of operations that the Browns had this weekend.
Yeah, and he's a left-handed guy too, right? Isn't he? He's a left-handed quarterback. But let's get to your question about this second drop into the 5th pick. I was a little bit upset. And if I say I wasn't upset, I'll be lying. I was a little bit upset by the whole thing because I thought there was some good players or some great players right there that we could have nabbed. Talking about a Carter, talking about a Hunter, talking about, guys, I really wanted us to go get that running back from Boise State. Mm-hmm. I mean, this kid, oh, my goodness. I'm telling you, watch him in the league. He's going to be something to deal with. But, damn, after we did it, I mean, we came with the 5th pick, and we going to go to Michigan and get this.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mason Graham, a
defensive tackle for Michigan? Have you lost your mind?
What? I was excited about that.
I was not excited.
Why were you excited, though?
I was not excited.
I mean, it's a fine enough pick, and I said this on our draft live stream, too, that
because defense wins championships. We still have holes to fill, and we want some youth.
Very
and
true.
Yeah.
But it's just not a sexy pick by any means. So, the thing about it is, if you told me last year,
maybe was it the order, going? I mean, is that your problem?
Well, we had what people were saying was a generational talent on the board at 2.
Fair.
That's the thing. But so here's my thing: is if you told me last year that we got the 5th pick naturally and didn't trade for it, I'd be like, okay, great, Mason Graham, bring him in. That's awesome. We had the opportunity to get somebody who really could be franchise changing. And we decided against it. I do enjoy getting the 1st round pick from Jacksonville next year, but I don't know, man. I was right there with Hanford, honestly. I was don't stop believing at the same time, but
yeah, because here's the thing: if we look at it, what do we have? 2 first-round picks for next year?
Yes.
Maybe they were playing the long game,
especially with Jacksonville.
At first, I saw this pick as a mark of maturity. Sure. I was like, okay, hold on a second.
Yeah. I think my brother put it a pretty good way. This was like a take your medicine type of situation.
Yeah.
Like you could have gotten a Genty, you could have gotten a Carter, you could have gotten Travis Hunter, but at the same time, like you need the stability of a Mason Graham and also move it forward for next year.
Well, here's what we received. We received, obviously, the 5th overall. Then we got a 2nd round pick, the 36th overall. Then we got a 4th round pick, the 126th overall. And then we got that, like you guys mentioned, we got that 1st round pick next year in next year's draft. But, guys, when you are right there with the number 2 pick, and let's just face it, we don't ever want to be there picking again. I mean, we don't ever want to be there picking number 2 again. And when you have, again, you have all these guys that are up there that are available. I'm talking about great players. And then you look at our running back room. Before the draft, going into our running back room, we only had two running backs, guys, 2 on our roster, only 2. And this kid, I'm telling you, watch this kid out of Boise State. But, I'm not going to beat up on him, though. I'm not going to beat up on the Browns before what they did and how they did it and who we came away with, even though I still say a defensive tackle, Mason Graham from Michigan. Yeah. But I'm gonna let this kid, this kid right now, he's the Cleveland Browns, and I'm going to jump behind him 100%. 100%.
I'm behind the guy.
I'm behind him 100%. I'm on his side. He's one of the dogs up front. So show me what you got, big dog. Prove me wrong, Mason Graham.
Yeah.
Prove the top dog wrong, because I'm with you. I'm in your corner 100%.
Let's take a break. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. It's time for our Lipton Hard Iced Tea hard-hitting question of the week. Hanford, it's as simple as this. What grade would you give the Browns over the course of this draft?
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. Like I said, I'm not going to beat up on them. I think they did some good things. I think they filled some holes that needed to be filled. Still a little bit upset that we didn't stay right there with that 2nd pick and draft one of those players that was there. But I'm still gonna give them a B+. I'm gonna give them a B+ to an A, because I think they did some really good things. I think we got some good players. I think those 2 running backs, one out of Ohio State, the other one out of Tennessee, I think those guys can come in and they could play pretty much at day one. You're looking at the tight end from Bowling Green. This kid, I'm telling you, man, this kid, I think this kid is going to play, because when you look at Njoku, guys, let's just face it. I mean, he's a great tight end, but he just gets hurt all the time. And hopefully we can keep him healthy, and then we got someone else that can come in that could catch some balls too. So and I've always said, and you guys know me, and I say, what am I going to say about the defensive line, offensive line? The game of football is controlled and played on the offensive and defensive line of scrimmage. And I think we did, we helped ourselves there too.
Yeah.
So, I think we did some good things. The only thing I'm mad about, because we didn't stay in that number 2 spot, we traded up, and then we got a 1st round next year. But next year, hell, I want to win now. I want to,
Exactly.
I don't want to be in that at that 2 spot again. I want to win now.
But how many decisions have the Browns made with that type of mentality and seen it backfire? I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Right.
So maybe they weren't as sexy out front. So I'm curious to see. And actually, Pat, this is another hard-hitting question for you.
Yeah.
Lipton Hard Iced Tea hard-hitting question. How much of the draft process do you think is somewhat of a crapshoot? And I only say that because, we're looking at people's resumes, we're looking at film, we're looking at how these athletes performed at the collegiate level. In a way, it's not comparing apples to oranges by any means, but the NFL is a different animal. It's a faster pace of game.
I couldn't agree more.
Bigger, better athletes. Sometimes these organizations and GMs just might look genius on draft day, because they're going with the analytic route and whatnot. But then some organizations, maybe they're doing weird things, or they're trading out of a certain pick, and they're maybe doing something a little less flashy, but who's to say? This entire process, how much of this is a crapshoot?
And here's the thing, too, Gab, is like, we're talking about the top dog getting drafted in 1981, but no one knows the name Ted Watts.
Yeah.
Maybe Hanford Dixon does.
From the Oakland Raiders.
Do you think the Oakland Raiders, I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade on the guy, but like, the Browns Do you think they wanted Ted Watts? Who knows? Because he went at 21, right above our guy Hanford. But Hanford ended up with that little yellow thing where it says you got a Pro Bowl. You know what I mean?
And not to cut you off, Pat, but I have to get this in because I'm sitting up there and draft day, and just imagine me sitting there. Rate it now, guys. The number one cornerback coming out in that draft, the 1981 draft, and then all of a sudden, another cornerback goes before me, Ted Watts. The Oakland Raiders take this guy, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I mean, how could you pass me up and then go get this guy? And then right after that, the 22nd pick, you're right, I went off the board. I was drafted by the Cleveland Browns.
Because that's the thing, though, is like Hanford's got talent, obviously, coming out of the draft, but then, it kind of depends on the situation you're going into as well, because you and Frank Minifield and the whole secondary back there, it was a cohesive defense that made you guys so good, and the Raiders didn't really have that. So, like, unfortunately for Ted Watts, he's going to catch some strays today, but it matters where you get drafted to, and it's a little bit of a crapshoot because you got to bet on talent as well at the same time.
And let me say this, Ted, I love you, baby. That's one of my boys. I love you. I'm not talking about you, big dog. I love you. But where you're talking about a crapshoot, with these GMs where they really seem like what really makes them look good when they hit on these picks like down the line.
Yeah, when they clean up in the later.
And in the later rounds when they really hit on like for instance Tom Brady. Who would have thought Tom Brady was the 6th round pick? I mean, 6th round pick, Tom Brady, Hall of Famer. I mean, everybody passed on Tom Brady. No one wanted, but they picked him, and I'm telling you, he turned out to be a gem. So that's a beauty of this whole thing. You don't really know, but I think you do know when you pick in like one of the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You picking somewhere in between there. The percentages are really, really high that these guys are going to be Hall of Famers or really good players. So that's why I keep going back to I hate that we didn't stay at the number 2 pick. But again, I'm not beating up on the guys. I think we did some good things. I can't wait to see how these guys perform.
We'll take a break. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. It's time to go around the AFC North, brought to you by our friends at Garage Beer. Garage Beer comes in 2 flavors, classic, light lager, and lime. No frills, no bitterness, no IPAs. It's just beer-flavored beer. Find local retailers who sell Garage Beer near you by visiting drinkgaragebeer.com. Okay, Hanford, let's take a look at the Bengals here for a second, because you gotta believe their fan base might have been a little rocked by how things unfolded here. Do you think they did enough to bolster their defense? You and I, we're looking at this draft class right here. They've got an edge, linebacker, guard, running back. What do you think?
I don't think they did. I mean, when you look at everybody right now, I think I think pretty much everybody that graded their draft pretty much gave them a D because and those guys, they do things a little bit different than everybody else. But you're right. They took this guy with their 1st round pick. I think they only had, 6 picks in the draft. And Stewart, who's an edge rusher, that's who they took with their 1st pick. And I kind of know where that was headed because they're having a little problem. Giving up some more money to their top edge rusher up there. So that's gonna be interesting. And then right after that, they hit their defense with they took a linebacker, this kid Knight. So. But, the Bengals just didn't do that much. It wasn't an exciting draft for them. It wasn't a productive draft, I don't think, for them. And as a result, I'm going to give them pretty much a D throughout that whole process.
Okay, let's move on to Steelers, because this is one I'm really excited to talk to you about.
I know you want to talk about that one.
So Pittsburgh essentially passing on Shadur Sanders with their number 21 pick.
They're going to pay. I guarantee you Shadur Sanders is going to make them pay every time he play them twice a year. He's going to make them pay. Well, go ahead.
But the caveat is They got the 2 Ohio State guys.
Oh, I knew you were
So
going
are
there.
they going to make us pay?
I knew you were going there. I knew you were going there.
I mean, they
talking
did get a
about
quarterback,
Sawyers.
but not until the 6th round with Will Howard.
Will Howard. It's so,
OH.
oh, I almost said it too. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. You know what? I don't care how you want to dress it or undress it. They're 2 good players.
Yeah,
they're really, really 2 good players. And I'm just glad. I think Will Howard is a good player too. I'm just glad the Steelers didn't take Shadur Sanders. I think Shadur Sanders is a better player than Will Howard. But
I also you got to look at the guys' upsides though too, right? Right, Hanford?
Yeah.
We're judging them by a small window in college. We're totally missing not totally. I'm sure these organizations look into it, but I think Will Howard has a big upside.
Well, he really does.
There.
I mean, the kid has played he's played in the big games. He's performed in the big games. And I think he's going to be a great player. I hope he's a great player. I don't care who he is. I kid and joke and talking about where he's from and where the kid is from, but I always wish the best for all of them. You look at the Steelers, I think they had a total of 7 picks in the draft, and they went heavy defense. I mean, they went really, really heavy defense because they drafted 5 players on defense and 2 on offense. And, again, everybody likes those. They agree with me. The game of football is control on the offensive, defensive line of scrimmage because when you look at the Steelers, that was their first pick. They took a defensive tackle, and then obviously they took a running back, and then they came right back and they took an edge guy and another defensive tackle. And again, your guy from Ohio State, Will Howard, he came next, and then they went back linebacker, and then they took a cornerback. So I give the Steelers, though, with that draft, I'm going to give them probably a B+ with their draft because they have some really good players. They have some players that I think can come in, and I think they can help them right now. But I think what's going to hurt them, what's going to haunt them is that they didn't draft Sanders when they had the opportunity to. But again, they got Will Howard. So
yeah, that's the thing too, guys, is they didn't even just pass on him at 21. They passed on him at what? 83 and 123.
And that's
the crazy
those
part.
are the numbers that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about at 21.
Because 21,
right?
21 was crazy. Like if you watch the live stream on Thursday of our guys down at Pure AV in Akron, Ryan, the sense of relief on Ryan's face when we didn't have to deal with Shadur Sanders being a first-round pick for the Steelers was amazing. Because, Caleb Johnson's a really good fit for the Steelers. Yeah, Jack Sawyer is a pretty good fit for the Steelers as well. But for them to pass on the quarterback 3 times and then take Will Howard late, I think that's a really good pick late for the Steelers. But to avoid having a guy with the high upside of Shadur Sanders on the Steelers is a huge win for the Browns.
Yeah, what does this tell you? All right, let's pause for a second. What does this tell you? Are teams looking outside? Okay, my question is, and I think everybody's been trying to answer this on Twitter or X, do you think that Shedeur might have been a little overhyped and maybe some of his physical traits and physical assets aren't as outstanding as maybe he was marketed to be? Or is it really this whole thing about, well, he's kind of a little bit of a star. He's got the star power and
a diva,
the famous, and his dad, and some of that comes along with it. I got to believe that teams would still look outside of all that for a guy who can get a job done. So what are your thoughts?
You know what? I can't put my finger on it. The whole thing is just a big puzzle to me because I don't know. You're talking about a kid that early on there was talk of him being the number 1 pick, if not the number 1 pick, the number 2 pick. I'm talking about in the entire draft, and for him to fall like he fell is just unbelievable to me. You never know if there's something going on out there that we just don't know about it, that we didn't know about. Right. Some chatter. Like you, Gab, I find it hard to believe that you're not going to draft this kid because of
sheerly because he's got a lot of
something he said or he's being flashy or something like that. I don't give a damn. My thing is, can you play football? If you can play football, are you staying out of trouble? You're not getting you're not a disrupted. The big thing, staying out of trouble. You're doing that and you perform on the field. Hey, I can't pass you up. And when I was talking about Pat, when I was giving the Steelers a hard time, you hit it right on the head. I wasn't talking about at 21.
Right.
I'm talking about a couple of more times they had an opportunity to take this kid and they passed on him both times, and I just think that's absolutely crazy.
I think the most interesting thing too is because we've heard for so many years. I mean, the Steelers and Mike Tomlin are able to work with people who have huge personalities.
I thought
so that's why I was so shocked that they didn't take him at 21, let alone at 68 or whatever it was, and
Guys,
132.
I thought it was the perfect fit.
It is a perfect fit.
I thought it was the perfect
Tomlin
fit for
handles
him.
guys like that so well. I was shocked.
If anyone can handle Shadur Sanders, and I thought it would be Mike Tomlin. That's why.
Very good point.
That's why I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. But I'm happy they did. Now we have the kid right here. But and our quarterback room is just ridiculous right now.
Our quarterback room. Somebody said, actually, no, I can't repeat the meme on here.
Yeah, look at this quarterback room, guys.
Yeah, it's crazy, guys.
Look at that.
Maybe
Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders.
Maybe I'll say it anyway. Someone made a meme and said, my boyfriend told me this. The Browns quarterback room looks like the Avengers if they added Bill Cosby.
Oh my God.
Oh God, I'm not.
Sorry, I didn't make it.
I am staying
Someone
away
else
from
said
that
it.
one.
That's
I am
amazing.
staying away from that one.
Man.
I'm not touching that one.
That's so funny, guys. And honestly, too, it's such a weird draft for the Browns, too. But the Ravens, Hanford, I know you said that you like some of the picks that they made. Your boy Ozzy over there. I didn't think they made too many headlines, but it was quality picks, I thought.
Let me tell you something. I thought the Ravens, they had a total of 11 picks, and I think they did well with each one of them. They started off with a bang with this kid, Malachi Starks, I think, the safety. They can play him at safety. They can play him at nickelback. This kid can play. I'm talking about he can play. They can put him out there, and I'm telling you, he can play. He can cover one-on-one. So I thought he was a kid that can come in and step in right away. They drafted a kid, Mike Green. They drafted an offensive tackle, a linebacker. Then they came right back with another offensive tackle, and then where they really had a need for was cornerback, and they drafted two of those in this draft. But I thought this kid Webster, they drafted a wide receiver. I'm telling you, this kid can go too. But and even with their last pick, they drafted a linebacker from LSU. I thought the Ravens had a really good draft. I'm going to give the Ravens, I think, an A. And you don't find. I know you guys don't.
Of course he does.
I know you guys don't find that surprising.
He's not going to tell Ozzy any different.
Well,
no, this was a solid showing.
Here's what's funny though. I'm sitting there, and when they show the Ravens draft room. And you see Ozzy sitting in there, and when they draft Malachi Starks,
do you like take pictures of him on the TV
no,
and then send
no,
it to him? Hey,
no,
bro.
no,
hey.
no.
You
I
got
do
something
not.
in your teeth.
No, I do not. But I thought they had I think the AFC North is going to be really, really competitive again. What I mean by that is not just one or two teams. I'm thinking about all four teams, and I think that's good for the AFC North. The Bengals and the Ravens are already there, and the Steelers are somewhat there. Now we have to pull it up in the rear, and I think hopefully we'll do that.
Around the AFC North, brought to you by our good friends at Garage Beer. Go grab some today. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. Okay, Hanford, let's get into this. We obviously covered it, but maybe we can dive in a little bit more. Sort of the drama of the Browns trading out of the number 2 pick and acquiring that 2026 first rounder from Jacksonville, as well as the number 36 in this year's second round. That was all part of the package that pushed them down to number 5, where they obviously selected maybe not your favorite.
Well,
the defensive tackle, Mason Graham.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm behind him. I'm going to answer your question that you just asked me before we was off the air, and you asked me which out of all the draft picks, what am I most excited about besides Sanders? Because you knew I was going to say Sanders, so you put a cap on that. You said besides Sanders. You know what, Gab? And Pat, I like those two running backs. I mean, I really do. I really like those two guys because watching the tape on those two guys, they're very productive backs, and they're and they can run away from you, and they also can run through you. And I really, really like, especially the kid from you got the kid from Ohio State, and then you got the kid from Tennessee. But let me ask you guys a question. of the draft, which conference you think had the most players drafted?
So I think this is a trick question.
I'm going to give you a hint.
So
there.
this is a trick question. The answer is not the SEC.
It is the SEC.
Oh, no,
It just means more.
What's
It
wrong?
just means more. What can we say?
What's wrong? I know you
Yeah.
weren't going to say Big Ten, were you? You know.
He was just trying to make his point. I'm such an idiot.
No, that was a joke. I could. That's a true statement, though. The most players drafted came out of the SEC, but that doesn't mean anything. And you guys, before you beat up on me,
Hey, you got us there.
I
Fine.
keep saying Ohio
Fine.
State need to be in the SEC. You know, Ohio State is that good, is that team. But I like the two running backs, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really do. I think those two guys. I think they're going to come in. I think they're really going to help us this year. Again, I was talking about the two. Let me look back at my notes here. The two running backs that we had on our roster was Pierre Strong and Jerome Ford. And they were the only two active running backs on the roster before yesterday. Mm-hmm. And the big question is Nick Chubb. I mean, what are we going to do about Nick Chubb? Because no one is beating down the door to sign him.
But bringing in Dylan Sampson and Quinshon Judkins too.
Yeah.
It kind of
Do you feel like that helps or hurts his chances?
Significantly hurts.
Yeah.
Two more guys added to that running back room. Like you'd probably, me personally, I'd get rid of Jerome Ford in favor of Nick Chubb if I really, really had to, if it really came down to it, because I would prefer Nick Chubb just in general. But bringing in two running backs in such a heavy running back class really doesn't spell good news for Nick Chubb.
Yeah, and we could probably get him cheap. And
sure.
I'm not trying to cut his value or anything, but I like the kid.
Point, yeah.
I like him. I mean, I really like him. But you watch and see what I tell you with those two running backs. They're gonna really. This is the thing I had to ask you guys. Were you guys surprised? And I'm gonna go back to the Ravens draft. Were you guys surprised that the Ravens took a kicker in this draft? Pat?
Oh yeah.
Pat, did you know what I'm saying?
I personally was not surprised. Based on it's so funny because they took a Justin Tucker replacement at kicker, but then they took Mike Green.
Yeah.
So if you take Mike Green, if you want to do a quick little Google search, less than great situation going on there, but you'll get your replacement for Justin Tucker, but you'll take a different guy who's got allegations. But sure, just make it make sense to me. It doesn't really make any sense.
Right. That's so true.
Sure.
So I'm the only one that was thinking about.
So here's the thing: is like that's the league that we're in right now. You know what I mean? Like if you can ball out. So keep an eye on a guy named Isaiah Bond as well, who just turned himself in. He was a running back from Texas as well. He went undrafted. People want him to sign undrafted free agent to the Browns. You just turned yourself into police, man. Like. It's not going to happen. Like I don't understand.
Oh wait, which guy was this?
Isaiah Bond, who's a running back from Texas.
I think
it's so funny to see people on social media talking about that, being like, "We should bring him in. We should bring him in." It's like, well, you can't just have it both ways.
Yeah, right.
You can't have Deshaun Watson and then bring in Isaiah Bond as well. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was not shocked by the kicker pick.
And what are we going to do? Again, we talked about the quarterback room, but Dylan and that shocked me. The biggest shock of the draft was that one to me. You know, when we drafted this kid. But then again, I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna let him prove himself and see whether or not he belongs. I mean, the kid is 5'11".
That was the biggest question mark for me. I was like trying to figure it out. And think like, okay, hold on. You know, that's the thing. You gaslight yourself during this draft too, because like you're playing that game again of, okay, maybe this one's got more substance than flash, no, this one's got more flash than substance. It's like I don't even know. Maybe this is brilliant.
Well, we have your boy Gab, Bowling Green. Bowling Green. We got a tight end from Bowling Green, Aaron Fanning Jr.
That's right. The Mac from he was the Mid-American Conference Player of the Year.
Yeah, they had a cool graphic.
One thing that we
there.
had is the Browns drafted the SEC Player of the Year, the Big Ten Player of the Year, and we had, I think, the Big 12 Player of the Year in Shadur Sanders, and then one other conference as well.
Yeah.
We had 4 different Offensive Player of the Years in their conference. It's kind of wild.
It's gonna be fun, guys. It's gonna be fun, and that's why I get so excited about this time of year, especially when we bring in all these new players and players that we can fill in the different gaps to help our football team, because only win 3 games last year was so depressing. And hopefully these guys can come in and get us back on the right track.
I'm optimistic, Top Dog.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. The Big Play Sports Network is brought to you by Infinity, luxury experiences for those who dare to be different. Visit infinityusa.com today. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show as we just kind of unwind our final thoughts on the Browns draft. Hanford giving them a B+, maybe in the A range there. We're excited to see how these new players pan out. The other thing is we haven't talked to any Cavs, and these guys are on a hot streak.
Oh, my God, are they? And let's just hope we can sweep.
We're shooting this on Monday. Cavs playing tonight. So hopefully by the time this show goes out, we will have already swept, and we're already preparing for our next round.
You know what? They seem like, when you watch them, they seem like they're on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're on a mission right now, and they're just taking guys, and they're just to get out of my way because we have somewhere we're trying to go, and you are in our way, and you're not going to stop us. And I really like this team. And you know, the thing I like about this team, they're so deep.
That's the biggest part of this entire team. That's so exciting to see. They're on a mission, but then we got 3 right off the bench who are just like low-key interchangeable. They could be some of these could fill in as starters, and we're going to be perfectly fine.
Right, and they're not afraid, like you're talking about. They feel like they belong. They feel like when we take 5 or 2 or 3 off the court and replace them, we don't lose anything because the guys coming in are just as good. And let's just keep it going, guys. I just hope we continue this thing. This is another question. We can get back to the Cavs. I got to ask you guys, did you guys see my boy the other day? Big Christmas.
Oh,
Big Christmas. I'm talking. Did you see Big Christmas the other day? He really needed that home run. I mean, what was it? I think it was a 2-run home run.
He's been struggling a little bit to get going. And don't get me wrong, we got our butts kicked by the Red Sox that game. But he's the one. Oh, wait, am I getting my games mixed up? Did he hit that?
No, you're right. You're right. No, you're right.
Did he hit it yesterday? Because I tweeted it out.
But see, here's the problem, Gam. It's so difficult.
He takes the lid off for us, but we didn't quite climb back.
Yeah, Nolan Jones on Sunday, but then it was in the first game of the doubleheader that John Kenzie hit that 2-run blast to the first row. That wind, and Gab was there obviously too.
2-run bomb. They climbed back 6-3, and then didn't we win that game?
We won the game. So, but the thing is John Kenzie, he hit that home run through the wind. There was a hefty wind blowing in from left and center. So,
but see, people don't realize how tough it is for him because he's a guy that doesn't play every day.
Exactly.
I mean, he doesn't play every day. I mean, I think if you just give him more playing time, and it's really tough right now because this kid Jones. I think he's in there and he's playing a lot more than Big Christmas. But you got to give Big Christmas time. If you're listening to me, play Big Christmas. Let him go because the kid, I'm telling you, he's that threat every time. He's so. Can you imagine a pitcher being able to see this big guy up there? You got to throw to him. I'm like, but boy, for him to hit that ball like that through the wind and a big 2-run homer. So our Indians, our Guardians right now are on a little bit of a slide, but that's all right. I think we're like 2.5 games or something like that out of first place, but we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. I just don't like the way Boston came in here and the way they treated us. They treated us like a stepchild or something, and they're scoring like 12 runs, 9 runs on us.
They did to us what we usually be doing to other teams.
And it's a 4-game series, isn't it? I think are they done or we play one more with them today?
Done now. Yep.
Yeah, we wrapped up that series.
You got the Twins coming in, guys, and honestly, before the season too, like you would have thought that this was going to be an important series early on in the early going, but the Twins have been awful. Like the Guards started slow. The Twins have been terrible. They're like 11-17 or 11-16.
It's really important for us to.
Yeah, I mean, if we could bury the Twins early like this, that'd be great because the Tigers and the Royals are bigger fish to fry for us anyway. But it's shocking to me how bad the Twins are on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Hey, Gab, what do you have in that cup right there?
I know you were gonna make fun of me some more.
You think that cup is big enough or whatever?
Yeah, put it next to your face.
Yeah, look at this big mug.
That thing is huge.
I know.
I
like big mugs. I cannot lie.
Is that? Is that?
Oh my God!
Is that decaf coffee you have in there?
I'm already jacked up. I shouldn't have regular coffee, but it is.
I was gonna say, if I'm gonna drink coffee, Gab, it has to be decaf. I can't. I don't know, for some reason I can't. I don't drink coffee.
Are you trying
anyway.
to be an old man?
Yeah, I am an old man, Gab. Shut up. Don't call me old. Get out of this show. You calling me old.
We gotta go.
I can't believe you.
Thanks for watching the Hanford Dixon Show. We'll see you next week.